Okay, good morning. It is May 27th. We have our 9 o'clock open session. Mr. Tim Burke just walked in the room, so we have the opportunity now to start. Thank you, Mr. Burke. Okay.
We have adult supervision now.
Well,
That's
wow. You didn't even give me an opportunity on that. Okay, let's please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and let's take a moment of silence after that.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I think we need all the prayer we can get.
Okay, let's jump right into this with prior to Carol. Commissioner Frazier.
Morning. All right. First thing I have to say is that I did say this before, but we were in a work session then. The bike ride for this past Monday was canceled because of the rain. It has been rescheduled for June 14th. Everything else is the same, except the last email I got said it was a 25-mile bike ride. Every time I get an email about it, it goes up like a mile or two. So hopefully it doesn't get postponed again because I can't do much more than that. So it's June 14th, which should be a Monday. Starts at 9 o'clock, or meeting at 9 o'clock at Race Pace in Westminster, and it's a loop, and ends up there as well. This past week, also went to the Magic Showcase in downtown Westminster. There was vendors there showing innovations and technology and so forth. They had a car that drives itself, autonomous cars, what they call it. Autonomous cars driving, and they're going to have a route around Westminster that's mapped out for the car to drive and so forth. So it was pretty interesting, and they had a ribbon cutting for that as well. I also went to the Chamber of Commerce, kind of a farewell to Dr. Casey and a hello to Dr. Gaskin. I think I got her name right. Who's a new president at McDaniel College. So it was interesting event. Very, good to say goodbye to Dr. Casey and meet the new president of McDaniel College. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Wentz.
So good morning. First of all, we're in the heat of graduation season. So congratulations to all those that have made it through what has been probably one of the most challenging years that they have ever experienced in their school lifetime. Many of us will be attending graduations over the next, I don't know what they are, 4 or 5 days. So just congratulations to everyone. And it's good to see that we're back to some sort of normalcy when it comes to that. McDaniel had their graduation outside and the weather was perfect. And congratulations to all them as well. I'm not so sure how perfect the weather's going to be over the next 3-4 days. It looks pretty sad. But on that note, let's remember that it is the official start to summer, but most importantly, we often forget what first weekend of summer is about, and that is Memorial Day. So I would ask that everyone pause on Monday. Unfortunately, Westminster's not having their parade, but the city of Taneytown is having a parade for the first time since I think 2012. And the festivities start up there, I think at 10 a.m. on Monday, and I think the parade's at 1. Stay tuned for that. That should be somewhere on social media.
Do they need a chipmunk in that parade?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No. Don't think they need a chipmunk. So, congratulations to the city of Taneytown for getting that worked out, because it's been quite a while, and it takes a good bit of work to try to get the permits for these parades, especially when you're dealing with a state highway. So that parade route is actually, most people think it's going to go it usually went from the bank at Trevanion in Baltimore to the park where the memorial is. But it's going the opposite way because of the state. So they're going to start at the Legion and go to McDonald's, which is this way. So anyway, they got it worked out. So good for them.
The McDonald's in Pleasant Valley.
Haven't found that one yet. Still working on that. Apparently, there's a Royal Farms going up near Pleasant Valley as well. Not the one out here on 97 because there's been a lot of chicken wrappers on Hollywood Road lately. So there must be one out there too. There's one everywhere, so there must be one out there. And I don't think we've met, or I haven't been here since we had the MML gathering in Union Bridge. And congratulations to all the new folks that got installed, the newly elected people that got installed. We've got some new faces and names in Carroll County. And I guess that's called term limits. So be safe, everybody out there over this weekend, whatever the weather brings. Monday looks good. Friday,
Cookout
Saturday, Sunday,
Good.
but Monday looks pretty good. Yeah. So be safe and everybody have a great weekend.
I don't know if there were term limits though.
Huh?
I don't know if there was term limits associated with the elections.
Well, that's what people call elections, term limits.
Okay.
That's where I was going with that.
Got
The
it,
people
got it.
institute the limit.
Yeah,
Yes, the
exactly.
term limit is the
Yeah,
voter.
there's not,
Got
yeah,
it. Got it.
Yeah,
Okay,
try to stay focused.
I'm there.
Okay.
Commissioner Weaver.
Well, Steve alluded to the MML. I would just want to thank all the people from the towns who took a few minutes from that time to do their photo opportunity about the getting a vaccine. I think you'll see them out here in the future, many of those faces, and they really, I didn't have one person say no as we asked and went through that whole item with, giving their little presentation. And next week is graduation week. The Carroll County Board of Education opted to have all the graduations at the Shipley Arena this year at the Ag Center. That should be interesting, but it have the spacing. It's going to be a lot of open areas, but first time for everything. And this is a way that they can have the graduations. I think we're still virtual this year, but outside of that, the rest of them will be at the Shipley Arena this year. Now, just a side note, we survived Cicada Week, I think, last week. A lot of people have them around.
They're still
See,
there.
I haven't seen one.
They're all of a sudden, depends where you are, the hatches come out.
Okay.
I saw one tree yesterday, must have had 200 of the
Shells.
the shells, yeah, after they evolved.
Yeah.
And just around the base of it. But more than cicadas issue is ticks. And we've had a big outbreak of ticks. Please, if you have young kids, dogs, check them for the ticks. There's a real resurgence of ticks this year coming out on the lawns and everywhere. So just be aware of young kids. Check them over, check yourself, make sure you don't get one. And this Saturday is Hampstead Day, coming back to Hampstead for the first time in 5 years. Mr. Burke, I'm sure, will be there at 6:30 when they close the roads. State Highway is closed. The whole town comes out for Hampstead Day. A totally new experience there. I think they moved the farmers market over to the North Carroll High School grounds, and Hampstead Day will be up and running Saturday all day. So if you have, I think it's supposed to be fairly decent on Saturday, come out and support all the businesses and vendors in Hampstead.
Okay. Commissioner Boucher.
All right. Mr. Swam says I'll fast pitch me some videos or photos of what we did this past weekend. I guess they haven't come up yet. I'll go over the new hirees for the county. Jacob Dems, building maintenance worker. Jennifer Claggett, employment consultant Burke. Ronald Kerrigan, bailiff circuit court. And Colton Dean, bailiff circuit court. Here we go. We did the duck derby finally. That is a photo of Mayor Jones's granddaughter and his daughter-in-law. In this event, part of the proceeds want to benefit suicide prevention. So we appreciate the support of all those people out there. Here they're dumping the ducks into the creek. And little duckies float down. 5 people won. It was absolutely gorgeous day. Someone out there kayaking. I wish that was me. And then it was the kids fishing derby. That's me with my dad down at Crim Gold. Let's get to the kids that won their awards. This was an absolutely incredible event. All these children came out between ages, I think, 4 and 15, and they had age categories. Just roll through all these and show all these kids winning their awards. Being a commissioner has a lot of stress, but as my colleagues have told me early on, events like this make it worthwhile. These kids are so happy to be out there with their parents fishing. And it was a great time for me to be out there. And I told the kids about my father helped me fish as a child. My dad was out there supporting me and for the day. My dad even went out and gave pointers to the little kids how to fish. What else we got, Swam? Is that all? Oh, here we go. This is the culvert that needs to be replaced on Buckhorn. We're going to be covering a lot of this today with DPW. These culverts are falling apart. There's over 2,000 of them throughout the county. They're categorizing them, inspecting them, reviewing them. This one is scheduled this summer to be replaced on Buckhorn and could be anywhere from a week to 2 weeks to replace. There's a crew out on the roads. They met with me out there and inspected the pipe. But there's Kathy Verts coming up out of the drainage ditch. She's getting herself dirty out there. They're also going to replace these guardrails. Over the years, replace a new surface. The guardrails are only about a foot above the road surface because of the packing of the surface higher. So all that'll be replaced. I want my constituents to know that that road will be detoured for about 2 weeks this summer, and I'm sure DPW will notify them when it's ready. And I'll wrap up real quickly with something from the health department. Throughout COVID, I think with the restrictions, a lot of us have put on weight. There's a free lifestyle change course offered by Carroll County Health. At-risk Carroll County residents have the chance to learn how to lose weight, be more active, and manage stress to help prevent type 2 diabetes for free. This diabetes prevention program is a 12-month program that is delivered virtually via mobile phone or computer. This program begins May 31st. For more information, call Turner at 410-876-4885. And I think this is a wonderful initiative by the health department. Now that we're getting out of COVID, a lot of us have stayed home and haven't been as active. So please take advantage of this, because excess weight leads to so many health issues as you get older. So thank you very much.
Okay. Actually, I lost weight along with my wife, and our workouts over the last year and a half have increased
Oh, good.
dramatically because we've had the opportunity to work out and get dedicated to taking care of ourselves. So, but appreciate it. The
Thanks for
comments,
adding
a
that.
couple things. One is it's not here in Carroll County, but it is across the country with these mass shootings. And I don't know about you, but I'm just kind of getting tired of, 8 yesterday in San Jose, a little girl shot in Minneapolis and was killed. And I listened to her grandfather this morning. It's just, it's horrific what's going on. No solutions, that we're going to come up with here, but it doesn't take away from the importance of thinking of those that are in harm's way without even knowing that they're being put in harm's way. But those that do know they're being put in harm's way, this weekend, I appreciate Commissioner Wance bringing it up, is Memorial Day, and it is not an opportunity or time to thank a veteran. That is for Veterans Day and Armed Forces Day and birthdays and things like that. Memorial Day is, just as Commissioner Wance, you shared, is to take that time and reflect on those that gave their ultimate sacrifice to allow us to do what we're doing today. And we've gone through a lot. But every Memorial Day weekend, I go through it and I think of the names that I've been close to, and there's a significant amount that I have to think through. But it doesn't take the time to be with family and friends. I mean, it is the unofficial start to the summer, and enjoy it. But having the understanding what Memorial Day is all about is important, and should be, I think, to all of us. Okay, are there any additional state directives that have occurred that we know of? I don't know of any from this past week. And I believe, Mr. Singer, you're on. If you can share some pearls of wisdom on what's going on with the vaccination site over at Sears and with our kids, and how we're doing overall in Carroll County. Good morning.
Good morning, commissioners. It's good to be sharing good news over the last several weeks. I think I was hopeful and thinking that we were going to get to the point where things were going to begin to loosen up a little bit as we got into the summer, as we got more people vaccinated and whatnot, and our numbers are definitely moving in a good direction. And I've got some slides where I'll talk about the vaccinations as we get into the presentation. So I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen. So we've been sharing this slide for a while now with you, and it's got to do with the CDC's recommendations and their indicators for schools. And for the first time since October, we're down into the moderate risk of transmission in schools. And the one thing that I don't remember if I talked to you at all about this last week, but I want to make sure that we're trying to, been talking to the superintendent, and we need to be talking to people at the state level, because as our case rates go down and we get into the lower part of the moderate or down to low risk of transmission in schools, I want to make sure that we're considering at the state level the school guidance and making sure that we're as there's less and less transmission in the county, and that means that people who have illnesses that might look like COVID are less and less likely to actually have COVID, and the risk of transmission is lower. So I really think before we get into too far towards the fall, that we need to be taking a look at the policies, because my concern is right now with the way the state's currently handling quarantine and isolation, as we get back to having kids in school 5 days a week, it's going to cause us real attendance problems. And I think some consideration needs to be given as to where we are with rates of transmission. And we want to keep people safe. We also don't want to unnecessarily keep kids home from school. And I think it's important as they get back in the classroom that we've got a good balance there. And I think that's a discussion that the superintendent and I need to encourage the State Department of Education and State Department of Health to take a look at over the summer, and not wait until we get back into the fall when the kids are actually back in school. I think as I'm saying, the less transmission we have in the community, the less risk there is to students, and I think there ought to be some consideration for those transmission levels when we're talking about guidances and how we deal with our schools in the fall. Our cases by week, for the first time since October 11th, we're below 100 cases in Carroll County, which is great. I'd love to see us get back to the point where we've got virtually no cases. I'd love to be down in the single digits. We got a little ways to go to get there. We're still seeing cases, and still having to deal with some people being in isolation and quarantine, and still have people getting sick and going to the hospital. But the numbers have come down, and we're able to do a lot more with now that people are vaccinated and get back to a little more normal. And as I go out to the stores and all that, it's good to see people back out and being able to live their lives. So 14-day rolling average shows the same trends as some of the other charts. And this week it's and I hope it's just an anomaly, but our cases in the 65 plus community are up comparatively to the other age groups this week. Not sure why that is, but we did see an uptick in the 65 plus. Most of our age groups are in a similar place this week as far as case rates. Hospitalizations are coming down. Spoke to Garrett this week that on average they're seeing about 10 or 11 people in the hospital now, where over previous weeks it seemed to be stuck up around 20 or mid 20s people who are in the hospital for COVID. And there's our hospitalizations and deaths by age group. And we had deaths over the last couple of weeks from COVID in the community, but I don't believe I've seen any this week. And I would expect as the number of cases drop off, we're going to see the deaths become very sporadic, like they were back over last summer and fall. The one thing that I will say, there's the the state found a reporting problem as far as deaths are concerned. We're going to see the number of deaths in Carroll County probably increase by 10 or 12. It's not deaths that happened recently, but they're looking retrospectively at some deaths that occurred, and these were mainly facility-related deaths, I believe. But I think we're going to see another 10 or 12 deaths classified as COVID-related from sometime in the distant past. These aren't recent deaths, but the numbers will change, and people will wonder why that is. And the reason is they went back and looked at some of the death records and the circumstances, and they've classified some additional deaths as being COVID-related. COVID vaccine, I was sharing a different chart with you before, but I think the thing that really gives you a picture of what the health department's activity's been with vaccinations. Overall, so far, we've administered 48,984 doses as of May 25th. The people in Carroll County and our hospital partners, the pharmacies and private practices are working on this effort as well. And I want to get into talking a little bit about our strategies as we get through these slides and talk about where we're going with our vaccine efforts. So the line's flattened out a little bit as far as the climbing in the rate of vaccination in the county. We've got 53.2% of our overall population. That even includes people who aren't eligible to be vaccinated, who are vaccinated at this point. And 45.2% of the population is completely vaccinated. And I'm happy to see that the line's still climbing. It's flattened out a little bit. Don't like seeing it flattening out, but hopefully we'll continue to get people as they understand more and more about the vaccine and how it's a benefit to all of us and how it's helping us get back to normal, get vaccinated. I can't do, I heard a couple of the commissioners talking this morning about encouraging people to get vaccinated. And if you have an opportunity to talk to your friends and family about why it's a good idea to get vaccinated, we'd appreciate the support. And you certainly call us here at the health department. We'd be glad to talk to people about it. Or you can look on the CDC website and read information about how the vaccines were developed and why they're safe and effective for everybody. These are our percentages by age group. We're up at 89% of the 65 plus, which is great. And we've just started vaccinating a lot of the people in the 12 to 15-year-old age group. We're about 33% there, but that's going to continue to grow. That's the population that's getting vaccinated at the highest rate at this point. Really need to kind of focus on our 20 to the 40-year-old age group, because that's where we seem to be lagging the most in percentages vaccinated. So our graph by race and ethnicity. Overall, out of the people over 20, we've vaccinated 64% of the population that's over the age of 20. And this graphic shows the 65 plus. As I mentioned, we're 88% for those 65 plus. In our African American community, really outstanding. 98% of our African American community has been vaccinated. We did have another Hispanic clinic at St. John's. We also tried to push some information out, thanks to Citizen Services and Javier over there, about the pediatric vaccination clinic we had yesterday. Yesterday, we vaccinated over 750 adolescents in the range of 12 to 17. And on May 19th, last Wednesday, we vaccinated over 1,000 adolescents. So we've gotten close to, as a health department, we vaccinated close to 2,000. There are also children at this age are also being vaccinated at the pharmacies and at their doctors and whatnot. It is difficult for the medical practices to be able to handle the vaccine because of the amount that gets shipped to them and how quickly it has to be used and that type of thing. I've been talking to our practices through our ACO and the affiliated practices about the health department potentially serving as a hub, and we would receive the vaccine, and then maybe we could get out to medical practices a vial or two when they needed it to vaccinate some of their patients. Because I think people are comfortable bringing their adolescents that are the age 12 12 to 17 to a mass vaccination site. It's been great. And we've had the comfort dog there, and the kids have been great, and the parents have been great. I do think that it's going to be a little more difficult when you're talking about kids that are 11 and under to get them all vaccinated at a site like the Sears location that we're running. So we're hopeful that we'll be able to partner with some of the medical practices so that if, especially, I'm especially worried about the kids that are under the age of 5 and I'm talking about this because I know prospectively that the vaccine manufacturers are looking at doing studies in these age groups right now, and it may be 6 months down the road that these age groups are approved for vaccine. Right now, it's only 12 and up, but we want to be ready that when it's approved for these younger ages, that we can work with our medical practices, because it would be hard for us to vaccinate very young children, and I think it's most appropriately done in their medical home. But right now, we're partnering with those medical practices and with the school system and many other community partners to get the word out about vaccine being available for those ages 12 to 17. When we have our second dose clinics, we're probably also going to encourage people to bring individuals that have not been vaccinated yet at all for their first doses to our Pfizer clinics. So we want to continue doing that. We have spots available in our clinics every week. We're running clinics at least twice a week to 3 times a week at the Sears location, and running evenings and weekends to try to make it convenient for people. Go out to the health department's website and you can just sign up for an appointment. I also wanted to note that there's been some spam emails out there that are not from the health department, and it seems to have be a phishing attempt with a malicious link. So best thing to do if you need to sign up for a vaccination is just go to the health department's website and sign up there. Our numbers have really dwindled in our Moderna vaccination clinics. We're probably seeing 100 to 150 patients in most of those clinics now for their first doses. And before we were seeing 700 or 800 patients at a clinic. So we're starting to refocus, and we're going to be looking at trying to do mobile vaccinations and go to events. The events like, and we're not coming this to Hampstead Days, but events like Hampstead Days and things like that. As we get into June, we're going to be coming out where there's a lot of foot traffic and trying to offer vaccine and make it convenient for people just to walk up and be vaccinated. So the more people, the bottom line is the more people we get vaccinated, the quicker we get through this and get back to normal. We're pretty close to back to normal now, but we're still seeing cases, we're still seeing people get sick, and we're still seeing people die. So we still need to continue with our efforts to get the population as highly vaccinated as we can, so that we can lower the rate of spread in the community. As you see, it's dropping. And hopefully we're going to get to the point where we'll be just seeing a few cases here and there and eventually put an end to this. Just a little bit on how to know when you're fully vaccinated. Essentially, if you've got the 2-dose series, it's after you've received your second shot. 2 weeks after that, you're considered to be fully vaccinated. And 2 weeks after a single dose with the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is considered to be fully vaccinated. And we've all seen the CDC guidance and know that wearing masks and physically distancing is no longer recommended. If you're fully vaccinated, you're able to do that. People have to do what they're comfortable with. And obviously there's still some places, there's still some businesses and state and local governments in some places are still requiring masks. You still have to have them in healthcare settings. The front office of our health department building where we have clinics, it's required. So please be respectful of that. I know a lot of us just want to be done with this, but we're very close to being at the finish line. There's some recovery operations and all that we need to do as far as getting to the point of scaling things down and getting things back to normal. But as things gradually transition, please be patient as some of the businesses and some of the places are still where you're still required to have masks and try to be cooperative. That's all I can ask. So get vaccinated. I was at McDaniel's graduation this weekend. It was really nice to be there. They did a really good job of putting it together. My message to the students there was, to get vaccinated, because one of the things that, we're still dealing with quarantine and isolations. And if you haven't been vaccinated and you get exposed to somebody that's infected with COVID-19, we're still expecting people to stay home, and that's disruptive to your life. And, I said to the students, I said, how many of you guys got quarantined this year during school, and how disruptive was that? And there was a number of hands kind of went up, and the bottom line is that if you get vaccinated, you're not subject to quarantine, and it'll help you not have disruptions in your life related to this disease. So encouraging people to get us back to normal by getting vaccinated. That's all I have. If you have any questions, commissioners, I'd be glad to try to answer for you.
Okay, Ed, thank you very much. Any questions, comments?
The only comment I have, I was a witness to someone that got into an argument about the mask thing
Oh, really?
in a
Yeah.
store. Man, that was ugly. I still don't understand in today's world why that's such a huge big deal, but
Yeah.
I guess people like to live the way they like to live. So anyway, they handled it fairly gracefully. They had to call a manager up, and they got through it. But we need to echo the fact that, you need to be respectful of folks that still want to wear a mask and not get so negative about this.
Right.
I don't get it. I haven't gotten it for the last 14 months, so I guess I wouldn't get it. But anyway, just I think that's a good message, Ed, to be respectful of that. And I've got 2 grandkids that were at the clinic before yesterday, and they're still around. They're doing very well.
Good.
Had very little effect.
Good.
So,
Yeah.
I encourage those with young folks to
Mhm.
really, that's the way that the school system is going to get back to normal in fall as well. So, just encourage them to do that too. So,
Go ahead.
I'd like to add on. I appreciate Commissioner Wance mentioning the thing about respect other people's opinion on masks. I'm a libertarian. What you're comfortable with, you need to respect people at what they're comfortable with. I know this has had a psychological impact on a lot of people, and it's tough for some people to transition out of something that's been ingrained in them. So please be understanding to those people that want to still continue to wear masks in public. This is something we could be faced with for a long time, because there's a lot of people who have immune disorders or health conditions. We might see people in face masks on a regular basis in public, and please be respectful to those individuals and the reasons they wear their masks. So thank you, Steve, for mentioning that.
I still carry my pocket square.
You're setting a trend,
Doubles as a mask.
fashion
just that quick.
statement.
Again, maybe it's Memorial Day. I become more reflective and parochial on things, but during the pandemic, the selfless service, the personal courage, the integrity was really driven to the nurses and the first responders and those that were taking care of those that were getting very sick very quickly. Now, although still continue to appreciate all of the work they're doing, but now it's the integrity and the selfless service and the personal courage of our entire community to get vaccinated. And Ed, you know these words because we were born and bred with these words in uniform. But having that personal courage, selfless service to look out for others beyond yourself in the community, get vaccinated and do what's right. I don't understand why people don't do it unless there is a health concern. But if it's just because you don't want to do it, but there may be an opportunity to take care of your neighbor or your family member, those are words that ring true. And, Memorial Day, again, it's an opportunity to think of those that went into harm's way. We are still in harm's way. And I don't want anybody else to have to give, their life. And I mean, one is too many. And we're still seeing that today. Again, I apologize being parochial on this, but it's really frustrating me. So and getting the numbers up, whatever we can do. Ed, please, your team, ask us whatever we can do to support you. Please let us know, and we will work our hardest to get out there. So, anything else for the good of the group? Okay, let's move on. Miss Linda should be coming to talk about a decision needs to be made on the water and sewer spring amendment.
Yes.
Were you
good
okay?
morning,
And Price is there with us. Who
Good
wants to?
Commissioners. I'm here with Price Wagner this morning for a discussion and decision on the 2019 Water and Sewer Master Plan 2021 Spring Amendment. I'm going to turn it over to Price so he can just refresh your memory and take it from there. Price.
Good morning, Commissioners. I have a brief presentation if you prefer to see that for a refresher, or we can go ahead and move forward with the discussion decision. But I might as well just give.
Hey, Price, hold on 1 second, real
Yes,
quick.
sir.
Hey, Greg, we're getting still very little volume. It's very low. Can we raise the volume? Or Chris, whoever's in there?
Like in the palm trees. Yeah, Matt's
Oh, I'm
got it.
sorry, Matt. I
Matt's
thought
got
Greg
it.
was there.
I think he lowers it on us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Price, start talking.
All right, now I got to figure out where my screen is that I want to share.
I was going to say, do we
It's
need,
on his end.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, that's
There
right.
you go. Feedback.
You gonna bring this up or you want me to?
I was going to say, do we need to go over this? We've heard it twice so far. We've had the public
Yeah.
hearing on it.
Being
Can
run
we just
through.
Yeah.
talk about it and vote on it?
Yeah, I
mean,
don't-
I
I
thought-
am fine with
We need
that.
to demonstrate, we don't need a presentation.
Then I'll make the motion, the board adopt the 2021 spring amendment to the 2019 water and sewer master plan.
Second.
So to be clear, Linda or Price, we didn't hear any other comments after the public hearing, correct?
That is correct. I have not heard any comment for receiving the emails.
Okay, that's,
Okay,
I was gonna.
Yep.
Make sure we heard those if we needed to, but okay, cool.
okay, so I got a motion, I got a second, to adopt the 2021 spring amendment to the 2019 water and sewer master plan. Any further discussion or questions on this? Seeing here none, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Hearing none, 5-0, it passes. Good job, Price.
Thank you so
very
much.
Okay, let's move on to Scott Campbell and Valerie should be joining us to talk about the emergency operation plan.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Update. Yep, go for it, Scott.
I'm sorry. Good morning, Commissioners. This is the follow-up in public session that we discussed in the during the prior brief on the updating of the county's emergency operations plan. To that point, Ms. Hawkins has joined us if there are any questions as a follow-up to that brief. But today it's being presented to the board so that the board can take whatever action the board feels is appropriate. Per the brief, the requested or recommended action is that the commissioners endorse and promulgate. And Commissioner Rothstein, that is official emergency management plan language to
That's a big
endorse and
word.
promulgate.
That's
So
a
so-
word that- Keep going.
So that the commissioners, that is in a nutshell what is being asked is that the board take that action on the updated EOP, and then of course Ms. Hawkins is here if you do actually have specific questions about the plan before you take whatever action you choose to take.
Okay, any discussion on this?
You know, being the public safety geek that I am, I read every word of it.
Well, fancy
word. There is a quiz, so I
Okay.
hope you all read it.
Let's just stop at the word geek.
Bring it on, bring it on.
It's just geek is. So Valerie, is this good?
I'm definitely comfortable with it and in favor of it. It is up to you as the board to take the action that's you feel most appropriate.
I appreciate that. And Valerie and Scott, you give us a lot of confidence in moving forward. So does the geek, or I mean, the commissioner wants to make a motion on this?
I make the motion that, as a commissioner to endorse, and you like this word, do you? Promulgate?
Promulgate, it's a big word.
It's a good
I
word.
like it. It is
And
good.
promulgate the 2020 Carroll County Emergency Operations Plan.
I will second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to endorse and promulgate the 2020 Carroll County Emergency Operation Plan.
Promulgate.
Any further discussion, questions? Seeing here none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Nothing. 5-0. Let's now talk
It's well promulgated.
about
Thank you.
the proposed
agree.
reimbursement from Maryland 911 Board. I'm not sure what's going off to my right, but that's okay.
We're promulgating. That's all. right.
Yeah,
Thank you, commissioners. Thank you for the previous action. This second item, as we have done in the past, and I'm going to say full credit to Jack Brown, requests have been taken before the Maryland 911 Board. A proposal to see if the board would fund whatever's being presented to them. In this case, it's a request for 1 year of quality performance review, what we would call quality assurance, to be done by the International Academies of Emergency Dispatch, specifically to the operations in Jack's shop. The board approved a request for that 1 year of service, this quality assurance review by the IAED, the International Academies of Emergency Dispatch, in the amount of $37,134. And we are here today to ask the commissioners to respectfully request that you accept that funding and allow us to proceed and award that 1 year of service contract to the IAED. And if there's any questions, commissioners, about exactly what this service is, I'm sure that Mr. Brown can answer those questions for you.
the amount, the 37,000 plus, was that, did all the jurisdictions receive funding for this 1 year IAED, quality performance review?
This is by request, correct, Jack?
Jurisdictions are going in as they feel the need to do this. Several jurisdictions have dedicated QA staff, so they won't be using this process.
Yeah.
Since we don't have the dedicated staff, we within, along with several other jurisdictions are going this route.
Did you come up with the 37,000 through a formula, or was this in coordination with the board, the 911 board?
It is a formula. It's based on the call volume. Roughly 2,448 cases will be reviewed, which are 911 calls entered for service, which is about 4.5% to 5% of our annual 911 call volume.
Okay, so you're confident that the 37,000 is enough to do the quality performance review?
I am.
Okay, thanks. Any further questions or discussion to Scott or to Jack?
I'll make the motion. We accept the reimbursement offered by the Maryland 911 Board, as well as authorize the Director of Public Safety to enter into an agreement with an approved payment to the IAED. Got to use acronyms in public safety as well for the proposed services.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second.
We're going to promulgate this.
We will be.
Good.
Yes,
People be
but,
promulgated, yes. You start.
as long as we don't utilize it. But anyway, any further discussion, questions? Seeing here none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Against? Hearing none. 5-0. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Just a quick note on the theme of public safety. I guess everybody saw that the governor signed the bill that was passed that makes MEMA a department now
Department,
and is a cabinet position.
Yep.
Which is something that we in GMAC were working towards. And we're very happy to say that there's a new secretary underneath the governor now, and all about public safety, which is really, really good.
We also broke out cybersecurity,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
which is
so
good.
out of some of the bad stuff comes some good, which is always the way that it typically works. So congratulations to Secretary Strickland.
Mhm. And unfortunately, what's his name just left? MTA. Kevin Quinn left. And
He
he
did?
went, yes,
Yes.
and he went to Canada. to, I think, Toronto or some transportation. Yeah. So Secretary Slater is one down with him, but they have a great team.
Yeah. Cool. Okay.
Okay, enough sidebars. Let's talk a little bit DPW. Doug and Chris, are you going to come on and request approval to use term contract for culvert repairs in FY 20 and 21? Doug?
Hey, good morning, Commissioners. So Chris and I are before you, and I'm going to let Chris dig deep into this one. He's got all the facts. Go ahead, Chris.
Good morning. We're here to seek your concurrence to use a current term contract with ProShot Concrete to make repairs to 9 culverts. As part of our pavement management program, these culverts were identified as needing repairs to ensure that they continue to function as designed. The work that will be completed includes traffic control, stream diversions, cleaning and debris removal, installing a shotcrete lining, and concrete patching repairs to the culverts. With this type of work, we're able to repair the existing pipe and head walls without having to dig up the roadway and replace the entire pipe, impacting the traveling public and also saving a good bit of money with this repair method. This year, we have 2 separate projects, one with 3 locations, Twin Arch, King Arthur Court, and Wolfersburg Road as part of our fiscal year 20 program, and 6 locations, Brown Road, Shiloh Road, Fairmount Road, Old Hanover Road, and Trevanion, Springdale Roads, as part of our FY 21 projects. ProShot has completed similar work for us in the county in the past, and we'll entertain any questions if you have any.
Any questions?
No.
The how many miles total are we talking about?
Well, these are actually culvert pipes. We have 217 linear feet in the one, and we have 365 linear feet in the other contract.
Okay.
Whose district are most of these in?
Wide range throughout the entire county.
Yeah. Okay.
What, do you think there was a culvert problem in somebody's district, Touche? Is that where you're going?
They keep washing out. I'd be more than happy to visit them.
You need some more gravel roads.
Well, I move that the Board of Commissioners approve using the term contract for ProShot Concrete, Inc. to complete the culvert repairs for FY 20 in the amount of $99,713.
Second.
Okay, for the FY 20. Any further questions? I got a motion and a second. Seeing here none, all in favor?
Aye.
5-0. Okay, second motion for FY 21.
I move
Yeah, go ahead, please. Go to start.
I move that the Board of Commissioners approve using the term contract with ProShot Concrete, Inc. to complete the culvert repairs for FY 21 in the amount of $99,209.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second for the FY 21. Any further question? Any questions or dialogue? Seeing here none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, gentlemen, great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, Jim, you can light up. I saw you pop up before. We got Doug and Jim to talk about requesting approval to purchase 7,700 gallons of white traffic paint and 12,100 gallons of yellow traffic paint.
That is a lot of paint.
That's
All
a
right.
lot of paint. Can we
That is a
finger
lot of
paint
paint,
or-
Commissioners. So thank you for seeing us this morning and seeing us quite a bit. I think Jim and Kathy and I know Kathy's on here by voice and Jim's on here with camera. So as you mentioned, Commissioner, this is the paint that we use, yellow. We do it annually, which is painting all of the edge lines on the roads in the county. And then the white, we try to get, center lines yellow annually. We try to do that every year. And then edge lines, we do it every other year. And then obviously we address any needs or concerns that come up throughout the year with this paint. So we are requesting your approval to be able to get that so that we can continue to move forward with this project.
This money is within the budget.
Yes, sir. Everything is included within our current budget.
I'll move the Board of Commissioners approve the Bureau of Roads Operations to use the state of Maryland blanket purchase order to purchase 7,700 gallons of white traffic paint and 12,100 gallons of yellow traffic paint for $186,153 from Ozark Materials LLC.
Second.
Okay.
You want to add to that motion, Commissioner Weaver? Tell people, please don't run through the paint.
Oh, yeah.
They only do it once.
Yeah,
I think
Jim's giving
Mr.
a
Cook
thumbs up.
agrees.
I saw it happen one day,
It's
and all I
classic.
did was laugh. I'm like,
It's- yeah.
because people were not patient.
Yeah.
So, whoop, right through they went, and their car looked like a school bus when they got done.
Yep.
And you know what?
They only do it once. They will learn to stay away from the paint,
Yeah.
wet paint. People can't help it.
Yeah, well, I laughed because they weren't patient. I didn't laugh at them. I laughed.
No, I know.
With,
Well, you couldn't laugh with us.
I don't think they were laughing.
You couldn't believe they
I
did it.
just laughed. So there's that.
Okay, I got a motion and a second for a whole lot of paint to be purchased. Any further discussion on this? Seeing here none. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 5-0, gentlemen. Now let's talk about reflective glass beads.
Okay, so commissioners, in all that paint we just purchased, we need to make it stand out so our people traveling the road can see it. Great example would be during the storms last night. These reflective beads allow it, when it's put down, we mix it in with every gallon of paint, both white and yellow, and it makes it pop off the road so that the headlights or other light make it very clear and hopefully easy to see. So we are requesting that you authorize us to ride a Baltimore County, Maryland master agreement to purchase $44,880 worth of glass beads from Potters Industries LLC. And again, we do have this in our existing budget with no additional funds needed.
Okay, who wants to make a motion for 132,000 pounds of glass beads?
I'll make the motion. The Board of Commissioners approve the Bureau of Roads Operations to use the Baltimore County, Maryland Master Agreement to purchase $44,880 of glass beads from Potters Industry LLC.
Now, is this recycled glass?
Well, I will
Yes, sir,
second that
sir.
motion.
Thank you.
Yep,
Okay,
it is. It is recycled glass.
There you go. That might help.
okay. So I got a motion and I got a second. Any further discussion? Great question. Any further discussion? Seeing here none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, gentlemen, let's talk about a term contract. Let's see, what are we gonna talk about? A stormwater drainage system pipe near 822 Wilda Drive in Westminster.
Yes, and in this particular case, we had some discussion last week. We were before you on an emergency repair. Fortunately, many of the ones we have today are not under emergency repair, but through our evaluation system, we have discovered near 822 Wilda, a 30-inch in diameter, 80-foot long section of pipe. It is rusted at the bottom and beyond rehabilitation. So we got a quote for the project from Stanballs Inc. of $40,397. They have a term contract with the county, which was competitively bid, and funding is available for this work. Now, in this particular case, no permits are required, and the road will remain open during construction. It's estimated that this will be about 2 working days, weather permitting. So we're seeking your approval to be able to handle this pipe on Wilder Drive.
When will this get started, once approved?
Kathy, when do you have that in your schedule?
Once I have approval, I will contact Stanballs and they should be able to have us started within probably 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay, thanks, Kath. Okay. Oh, go ahead, please.
So how is this going to be done? I mean, it's going to be like with the Pro Shot, it's going to be the pipe taken out, new pipe put in, because it says you're not going to disrupt traffic. So how are we doing it?
This is off of, this is actually back part of a private lane. So there's no only traffic is there is residents that's in that
I think it's 3 houses that go back that little lane there. So that, and it will be done with the excavator, trench box and that type of,
So you are going to
operation.
dig up the old pipe, put a new one in then?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Any further comments, questions?
I'll make the motion. The Board of Commissioners approve the Bureau of Roads operations to use Stanballs Incorporated to replace one failing stormwater drainage system pipe near 822 Wilder Drive, Westminster, Maryland for $40,397.
Second.
Okay, we got, I think, 3 or 4 seconds on that. Any further
I
discussion?
think I know where this is going.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Okay.
Will to drive. That's where it's going.
It's going in Wilder Drive. Now let's talk about replacing 2 failing stormwater drainage system pipes and add head walls at the intersection of Backwoods and Deep Run Roads, also in Westminster.
Okay.
Gentlemen?
Twin 48-inch diameter, 52-foot long corrugated metal pipes. They're currently in place here. They're rusted in the bottom and beyond rehabilitation. The proposal is to replace these pipes with one 48-inch and one 60-inch diameter. So again, a total of 2, but getting larger on the one. 53-foot long, high-density polyethylene pipes, and adding head walls to both ends. Now, for our customers that aren't familiar with head walls, these are the concrete abutments that surround the pipe, both on the inflow and as the water comes out of the pipe. And what that does for this pipe is that prevents water from surrounding it and eroding it away, either at either end or underneath the surface. So the head wall helps protect the pipe that's in place and secure it from moving. The quote submitted by HTI Contractors for this project is $102,857. They do have a term contract that was competitively bid and awarded. It's in place with the county, and funding is available for this work. Now, on this one, a permit is required, and we have requested it from the Maryland Department of the Environment, but it's not been received back, and we will not commence this work until MDE has approved and we receive that in hand. The road would be closed during construction with a detour in place, and the estimated time to complete this project is plus or minus 18 working days, as long as the weather cooperates. Commissioners, any questions?
So this is up. I'm familiar with this one because this one's had some washouts and stuff up going on up there. Isn't there a private drive up there, Jim, where there's a few houses right there close to that intersection? Am I in the right?
Yeah, there's 2 driveways, but one on each side of the road there, which,
Yeah.
you know, if when everything goes correctly, they should be able to go out the other way towards Bixler's Church. So
Okay.
gonna be a little drive for them, but yeah, that's where they'll have to go.
Well, if they're going to get the pipe fixed, I don't think it's going to be an issue because I've gotten a couple calls on that I think you're aware of, that you and I went back
Yes.
and forth a couple
And-
times up
and-
here.
And one thing the head walls do also is they give us a little more shoulder support there, you know, because when we don't have any head walls, the shoulders kind of fall off, which kind of creates a hazard. So this kind of helps give us a little more shoulder strength there.
Yeah, that's good. Put a couple glass beads up there while you're at it too, because I pulled a couple folks out of that when I was up there at Dark
Yep.
30 a few nights.
It is kind of a swamp there. Yeah.
So, okay, cool.
Okay, any further discussion, questions?
Now I'll make the motion. We approve the Bureau of Roads operation to use HTI to replace the failing stormwater drainage system pipes and add head walls at Backwoods and Deep Run for $102,857.
Second.
Okay, I got a motion, I got a second. Any further discussion on this? Seeing here none, all in favor? Aye. Doug, that's one heck of a tie you got there. Just want to say, that kind of goes with everything, doesn't it? I mean, you can wear any color shirt with that tie. What do you think, Mr. Burke? You like that? Okay, so you got the stamp of approval from our legal advisor, so.
Outstanding. And I take no credit. My wife picks them all out for me. So credit.
As you should. I just want to say,
Life, man.
I just want to make sure that our legal advisor approves, and I feel more comfortable now.
Is this a sidebar?
It is not a sidebar. I'm looking right at
Okay,
you.
I'm
The
just
sidebar's
checking.
looking at you. And the maps here, No. Okay, let's move on to Bureau of Roads. Let's see, seeking approval to use a term contract to replace one failing stormwater drainage system pipe and add head walls on Buckhorn Drive, or Buckhorn Road, excuse me, in Sykesville.
Yes.
Okay, report.
So this one's near Route 97, a little over 0.6 of a mile away from it on Buckhorn. And currently in the ground is a 71 inch by 47 inch by 34 inch, so an oblong corrugated metal pipe, and it has separated at the joints, which has caused erosion. And also what Jim had mentioned earlier, we're dealing with the road shoulders in this case having washed away during heavy rainfalls, so it's become a little bit narrower. Now, there is a typo in your briefing paper only with regard to the diameter of what it's going to be replaced with. It's going to be replaced with a 60 inch by 34 foot long, and in this case, a reinforced concrete pipe. And then head walls will be added to both ends. So this will be putting in a concrete pipe, very sturdy, very long lasting. Quote submitted by HTI Contractors for this project, $72,722. And again, they have a term contract. It was competitively bid and awarded. It's in place with the county and funding is available. Now, a permit is required for this project as well. It has been requested from the Maryland Department of the Environment, and work will not commence until MDE approval has been received. In this case, the road's going to be closed during construction, again with a detour in place, and it is estimated to be about 11 working days as long as the weather cooperates. That's this project, Commissioners. Any questions for Jim, Kathy, or I?
Deputy Director Brown, will we be notifying the citizens on that road about the date that's scheduled and the detouring?
Absolutely, yes. Kathy and her team, they always notify in advance any customers that are going to be directly impacted. Just like you heard, Jim, even if it's a private drive, we attempt to notify. We go out of our way in all projects, from tree trimming to anything else, anytime we're going to impact any of our property owners here in the county, to let them know.
Thank you. That'll reduce the amount of mean calls I get. And with that, I move that the Board of Commissioners approve the Bureau of Roads operations to use HTI contractors to replace failing stormwater drainage systems, pipe, and add head walls on Buckhorn Road, Sykesville, Maryland, 0.65 miles west of Maryland 97 for $76,772.
I'll second it with a question. Every time MDE is involved, I get a little antsy. What prompts permits by MDE? Is it the head walls?
Good question.
Why does MDE have to tell us that we can indeed improve our drainage beside our roads?
It's a live water going through that. It's not just a storm water. It's live water. So there's a stream restriction. Then depending on the classification of the stream, there's a stream restriction on when we can get in, when we cannot, So they make us jump through hoops, but that's what we have to do.
Okay. Yeah, I knew about the live water up at Backwoods and Deeper because I've been in that knee deep a couple nights, but I didn't know about Buckhorn. But I was curious as to what prompts it, because has MDE ever said, "Nah, I can't do that"?
They've kind of given us some direction on what to do with certain ones, depending on what the classification is. So, yeah, because sometimes you can just get in there and do it, and sometimes you have to dike it, put a pump in, and divert the water to the other side, and with means of a pump. So, there's depending on the classification is what they request or require. Yeah.
Okay.
So Jim, the live water as opposed to storm water would cause MDs to get involved for permitting.
That's correct.
Okay. So I want to make sure that was
Yes, because normally if it's just regular stormwater, it might not even be flowing. So MDE wouldn't even be involved with us.
Okay.
I appreciate that question because I just learned something. I believe I made a motion and there's no second
I
yet.
second.
Oh, you
Yeah,
second.
I
Thank you.
seconded with a question. That's what I'm just curious. I don't,
Are there any other questions or discussion? Appreciate that dialogue. Okay, hearing and seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Let's move on. Let's get into Marysville or Sykesville, I believe, where we at.
We can't get rid of these two guys.
Okay, seeking approval to use term contract replace one failing stormwater drainage system and its head walls over Marysville Road number 2 down in Marysville. Go for it.
Okay, this one, as you said, Marysville Road 2, intersection of Snowden Creek Road and Sunset Drive. We have a 48-inch, 51-foot long reinforced concrete pipe. It's separated at the joints. Now, you just heard me tell you that these reinforced concrete pipes last a long time, and they do. Checking back on Marysville Road 2, it appears to Kathy and the team, Jim, that this is likely an original pipe that went in when Marysville Road 2 was constructed to its current state. So it's been there a long time, but it's now separated, and it caused erosion underneath. Also, the bank between the road and the head walls has some holes in it. And this pipe will be replaced with a 60-inch by 63-foot long, again, reinforced concrete. And its head walls will be replaced on both sides as well. So in this case, we have a quote from Concrete General for the project of $103,498. They do have a term contract with us. It was competitively bid and awarded, and funding is available for this work. Permit is also required for this one from the Maryland Department of the Environment, and this one has already been approved. The road will be closed during construction with a detour in place, and we estimate around 20 working days so long as the weather cooperates. Any questions, commissioners?
That's a long time. I mean, it's good. You know, this road is a mess, and whatever we can continue to put attention to it, especially as we look at Zabel property, you know, in development,
Yeah.
because Marysville 2 and Ridge Road, I mean, are major concerns for that community. So I appreciate it being proactive on this.
A question, I guess. Were you done? I don't know.
Yeah, please.
We use a lot of contractors here, which is good. We spread the wealth. I would assume all these are bid. Typically, we have purchasing on, but maybe not for these, I guess. Is that why not? Because you guys handle this one?
So all of these are actually run, and I see Maureen is on the screen, but I let her review all of these papers prior to sending them to you to make sure that they meet all procurement requirements.
Yeah, okay. I was just curious. I mean, I like the fact that we're spreading the wealth around, and you have different contractors performing the work. That's good. So just a procedural question, if you will.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, I'll move the Board of Commissioners approves the Bureau of Roads Operations to use Concrete General Incorporated to replace failing stormwater drainage system pipe and its head walls on Marysville Road number 2, Marysville, Maryland, at the intersection of Snowden Creek Road and Sunset Drive for the amount of $103,498.
Second.
I got a motion, I got a second. Any further discussion, questions? Seeing here none, all in favor?
Aye.
Good job, gentlemen. Okay. You're seeking now approval to piggyback a Maryland State Highway Administration term contract for microsurfacing. In other words, slurry seal on 9 roads. Let's go.
Yes,
Go
we
for
are.
it.
So this is part of our annual program. And I would clarify for our customers who've been watching the budget process, this is not part of the discussion about hardening unpaved surfaces. This is all about our preservation program that we have done every year to here in the past. These next 2 items are both related to that. So what we do is our preservation, we make sure that every road is evaluated, and then we address those roads to make sure they can last as long as possible. And we work cooperatively, yes, together with engineering to make sure that we're coordinating our projects. So in this case, we've got we prepare construction documents and receive bids. utilizing a term contract with Slurry Pavers Inc. for microsurfacing or slurry seal on Cranberry Road, Tannery Road, Greens Mill Road, Kays Mill Road South, Runkles Road, Woodersville Road West, and Cabbage Spring Road. Total length of treated 2-lane road is 15.50 miles. For those who don't know, obviously we have in your brief that microsurfacing is a thin, about 3/8 inch thick treatment. It has polymer modified asphalt emulsion, mineral fillers, and water. It is applied to rehabilitate hot mix asphalt pavement by installing a new surface. It's going to extend the life of the roadway. It seals cracks and prevents water infiltration. And the microsurfacing process also has a high friction coefficient, so it allows for better traction on our roads. It has low energy requirements. It's environmentally safe, and it emits no pollutants. And it is one of the most eco-efficient maintenance treatments available to extend life expectancy, which typically is in excess of 5 years additional life. This work we propose to perform utilizing lane closures with signage, flagging folks, and pilot cars. And typically it's 25 days. And again, this is very weather dependent. Has to be nice outside, which is why we come to you now for this. So the cost for this project is $498,000, $498,615, excuse me, and 62 cents. And this does include a 3% for contingent items such as increase in asphalt index, which has been fluctuating, and any square yardage adjustments, where if we have to go a little bit left or a little bit right, may require a little bit more to tie into a driveway, for example. That's how one would get those adjustments. There is a term contract in place, and funding is available for this project, Commissioners.
Doug, you must hate Commissioner Wance and I.
Yeah, I like the fact that we now call it micro surfacing.
Yep.
And hidden the fact that it's slurry seal. You know how Commissioner Weaver and I feel about the slurry seal. And listen, you've done a great job of explaining this and what the advantages are. And I know you've done that with the folks that live on these roads as well, because I have lived that many did I say many times. I'm still struggling with the fact that there's nothing better, because this slurry is a challenge for our residents.
Yep. So
There's only one worse, and that's chip seal.
Well,
hey, that's next on your agenda. But
I know that. That's what I'm saying. There's got to be something better to
so
use.
none of these roads are in my district. Thank you very much. But
I see a lot of them in mine.
but it still remains a challenge. So I don't know.
So, you know, you've heard us talk during budget time. We actually just got in on your schedule to provide an update on roads, and as part of that, we provided you some numbers for what is called a thin overlay, ultra thin overlay of asphalt. But you know, we know it's important to you all, and we know this does sometimes generate complaints. But we also know it's important to you to maintain the infrastructure, and we really would struggle to find anything as cost effective to gain us the extra years that we need to get from an overlay to an overlay where asphalt is used, you know, rather than a major reconstruction. And certainly we mainly Kathy and her team go out, we advertise this to all of our customers, and we do the best that we can to explain to them what this process does, how it works, and ultimately that we are working to save them tax dollars, because the cheaper we can keep this preservation, the less tax dollars are required today and in the future when it comes to it's time to overlay. So I understand, and certainly I have heard, and we look every day at different things to be able to do that would be as cost effective as this project.
Since I noticed several of these roads are in my district, if it's possible when one of those roads are being done, I'd like to go out there and maybe with someone from the media crew, film it, put the drone up, and help with the public relations on this. Maybe get some close views of what's taking place, and I'll give you some support. We could have something on cable. I know Swam does really nice narration and presentation. So whatever would help with the public relations on this, I'm willing to help you guys out with. And with that, I move that the Board of Commissioners approve the Bureau of Roads operations to use Slurry Pavers, Inc. to preserve 15.5 miles of road using the microsurfacing process for $498,615.72.
Second. Could I ask a question before we vote on this, though? You said it raises coefficient of friction, just because I used to teach this in science. What does it raise it to?
Honestly, that one, I will have to research and get back with the commissioner. I'm not going to spit that one off the cuff.
Okay.
That was my research done in general, and I don't have the math right in front of me, but I will email that to you and the rest of the
I appreciate that.
That was a very intelligent question.
Commissioner Boucher, I think we already have those, our communications department has those videos.
Yeah. Okay. Got a motion and second for a term contract for microsurfing for Slurry Seal. For the 15.5 miles. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Against? Hearing none. Okay, let's move on. Bureau of Roads seeking approval to piggyback on a Howard County term contract for single seal surface treatment, or otherwise known as chip seal, on 8 roads.
And now,
Wow.
now we get to my district. Here we
This
go.
is Commissioner Wance's and Commissioner Weaver's favorite, and we know that.
I thought the last
But I-
one.
Well, no,
This
this
gets
stops this stops the slurry. Trust me.
But I did want to point out that Howard County does this too, because we're riding their contract.
Okay, we'll compare ourselves with Howard County.
So in this particular case, the chip seal, we've prepared the documents again. We have received a bid utilizing a term contract with American Paving Fabrics. Now, this is to install a single seal surface treatment and a fog seal. Now, I mention and emphasize fog seal because back originally, before my time with roads and before Jim and Kathy's time actually in these positions, these roads were done without fog seal, which left the chip free, and we received a multitude of complaints, is my understanding. And when I say we, I mean the commissioners and everyone else. So now we fog seal, which actually locks these stones in place to give everything enough time to settle. And Kathy can attest to, but our complaints with our public information process and the fog seal have greatly reduced over time. And we're glad that that's happened. So everyone will receive a fog seal. This will be Pleasant Valley Road, Hughes Shop Road, Merkel Road, Old Bachman's Valley Road, Coon Club Road, Hauksville Road, Obrecht Road, and Streaker Road. Total length here of treated 2-lane is 25.27 miles of roadway. Now, this process is approximately 3/8 inch thick, and it has a liquid asphalt emulsion with then either number 7 or 8 crushed stone added to it. It's applied to rehabilitate hot mix asphalt pavement and extends the life by sealing, in this case, larger cracks. So the previous one would be smaller cracks. This one will go in and handle larger cracks. This single seal treatment, again, low energy requirement. It's environmentally safe and emits no pollutants. And it's very eco-efficient, and typically, again, in excess of 5 years is what we see when we put this on the road. And in many cases, it's longer. Paving work will be performed utilizing lane closures, signage, and flags, and it's estimated that this will be 25 working days. Cost based on this term contract for the locations above is $721,024.88. This also includes 3% for contingencies such as the asphalt index or, again, square yardage adjustments. We have a term contract in place. It was competitively bid and awarded, and we do have funding available for this project. So we're seeking your approval on this one. Any questions, commissioners?
I noticed the last two roads are in my district, so gentlemen, be prepared to do some constituent calls with me when this comes up.
So, Merkel is one thing. Hughes Shop, at the end of Hughes Shop, right off of 140, coming down the hill there, Jim, the road's in really bad shape there. Do you repair that section before you do this chip seal thing?
Yes, sir. We're in the process of getting that done. It's within the next week or so. We will probably go in there and cut that out and repave it. So we'll have to patch that part of it. That's the worst spot because we've already done that 3 times, and it's a hard spot to repair because it's downhill and all the trucks, traffic, and I'll pull it off the top of the hill and down. But yes, we do repair all those, and we've done it with all the roads that we've done. That one's just happened to be a larger patch than most, but most of the roads we do like little, 6x8, 6x6, type of tire tracks that, require a, mill and patch job. So pretty much all the roads that we do, we go through first and then, and patch them, and then we chip seal.
And Pleasant Valley Road, this is Pleasant Valley off of 97 into the valley, correct? This isn't
That's
South
correct.
Pleasant.
That's correct. You're correct. Yep.
Okay. So that leads me to the question of at what point or what testing do you do to say, okay, it's time to do this again? Because honestly, it seems like you just did Pleasant Valley Road, because I remember just getting seems like yesterday I got a couple calls on that. But
it always seems that it's it was just done yesterday, but we do it's a 5 to 7 year plan, and between us and engineering, we have a scale that we go by, and it's usually what it is. It's between 5 and 7 years. Yep.
Okay.
I think it's a sign of us getting older.
Well, it could be.
Time flies.
Yeah. Okay.
I have a question for you. Since you said you replaced that section of Hughes Shop Road about 3 times and repaired it, have you looked at doing something besides asphalt there? Maybe putting concrete in there with the rebar? Since the trucks are pulling the asphalt being liquid, by the way. Since the trucks pull the asphalt down, why not? Have we looked at concrete?
We have not, but it's a good question. That's a good question. But we have one of the things is I think in years past, we didn't have some of the expertise that we have with it today. I have a guy that had done asphalt work for CJ Miller for years, and we have him on board with us now. And he's made some suggestions, and I think we're going to try to use his expertise on this next patch. I think the times before they just milled it out and put an overlay on top of it, which I don't think worked very well. But this one, we're going to use his expertise, and we're going to do the process that he recommends.
Okay, and if that doesn't work, then you look at Commissioner Fraser's idea of concrete.
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly right. We will. We might have to get the engineers involved and find out exactly what we can do. And you're right, the concrete would probably be a good idea.
Okay.
Said good, not great. But that's okay.
That is a bad, you know where it is. I mean,
yeah,
that's in your district, by the way. It's right there.
Yep.
So that's always, it seems like that's always a problem there.
Yeah, and that's why, because the trucks try to stop going down that hill and it moves the asphalt.
Maybe we'll put no truck signs on Hughes Shop.
We're just putting a whole bunch of Band-Aids on a much larger problem. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Any other questions on this? I'll move the board commissioners approve road operations to use American Paving Fabrics Incorporated to preserve 25.27 miles of roads using the single seal surface process for $721,024.88.
Second.
88 cents almost took me off, but okay, I got a motion, I got a second. Is there further conversation, discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Hearing none, 5-0. Okay, gentlemen, let's talk about,
That was reluctant.
Thank you, commissioners.
okay, in the books, we have one reluctant aye. Okay, let's talk about phase 3.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Jim.
Let's talk about phase 3 of access control project at the maintenance center. And we got Justin, we got Maureen.
Hey,
Cool.
good morning, commissioners.
Good morning.
We are here this morning to seek your approval to use term contractor Marathon Technology Solutions Incorporated to install access control and security cameras at the maintenance center. The cost of $81,134.19 includes all the material, labor, and equipment to complete the phase 3 project. And this is within the budget, and no additional funds will be needed. And I'll turn it over to Justin to answer any questions you have about the project.
Morning, commissioners. First off, I want to say thank you for your continued awareness to secure and protect employees here at Carroll County government. With that being said, we are before you back on April 2019 for the approval to replace and upgrade the existing access controls in multiple county buildings. The Bureau of Facilities requests the Board of Commissioners the approval to utilize Marathon Technology Solutions to provide new access controls and also installing 10 new cameras out here at the maintenance facility. While the maintenance facility did not previously fall within the scope of the original project, it was identified as a site to consider once we completed phase 1 and 2 with the funds remaining. Due to that, we had funds remaining off these projects, and we're looking to change the scope to support the installation of the cameras and your approval to approve the access control portion as well. So with that being said, do you have any questions regarding this project, commissioners?
Was this competitively bid?
This was using a term contractor, Marathon Technologies, who won the bid on phase 1 and 2 throughout the 5 county buildings we did within the past 2 years.
Okay, just share with my colleagues, this is a really cool company located, actually just relocated again in Eldersburg. Extra square footage because of the work that they're doing in this type of work. So they are really good stuff, and it's always nice to be able to support local companies like this. So, I'll move Board of Commissioners add the maintenance center to the project scope and award the installation of access controls and security cameras at the maintenance center to Marathon Technology Solutions Incorporated in the amount of $81,134.19. I got a motion, I got a second. Any further discussion or any discussion questions? Seeing here none. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Now let's talk about replacing the roof and the gutters at the Hampstead wastewater treatment plant.
Okay, again, commissioners, we are seeking your approval to award a contract for the replacement of roofing and gutters on the influent pumping station building and the control building at the Hampstead wastewater treatment plant to Roof Right Incorporated of Hampstead, Maryland, in the amount of $33,567.42. You will see your chart below where the other contractors that submitted proposals. This amount is within the adopted budget. No additional funds will be needed, and I will turn it over to Andy to answer any questions about the project.
Good morning, gentlemen, and thank you for including me on your schedule. As per Maureen in the briefing paper, this item is for replacement roofing and gutters for 2 buildings at the Hampstead wastewater treatment plant, the control building and the influent pump station building. For reasons unknown to me that predate my arrival, most likely based on the budgetary values, This work was not included as part of the scope of work of the current ENR upgrade project. However, the roofing needs were identified by plant staff and replacement costs were included within our FY21 operating budget. Both of these buildings have flat roofs that are aged and have been patched in several areas. Both roofs have low areas that also retain water. This results in dripping and leaking issues in the interior work areas. Further complicating matters is that the control building currently contains the upgraded SCADA equipment for the operation of the plant. This equipment cannot be exposed to roof leaks. And on a lighter note, I realize that the board anticipates a certain level of excitement with respect to my projects. My apologies for a rather boring, although important, item this morning. I'm confident that that my future items over the next several months will more than make up for this. With that, any questions for me?
Have we used roof right before?
I believe the Hampstead wastewater treatment plant may have used them on a previous project. They are a local company to the Hampstead area. Their credentials appear to be very, very nice.
So we're confident they can handle this job.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That company has a great reputation locally. They have really stepped up and done some fantastic work from people in the town I've talked to. So with that, I move the Board of Commissioners award a contract for replacement of roofing and gutters on the influent pumping station building and control building at the Westminster Hampstead wastewater treatment plant to Roof Right Incorporated in the amount of $33,567.42.
Second.
I got a motion, I got a second. Is there any further discussion, questions? Seeing here none, all in favor?
Aye.
And Andy, you can join us anytime you want. Just let you know.
Mr.
Start to
Wachter,
finish.
if I may, Mr. Wachter, has Mr. Burke been mentoring you on humor?
Of course not. It would be much less lively and humorous.
Don't worry about it.
We have a lot of mentoring to do.
It shows.
Take care.
Thank you, Commissioners.
You
Thank
are
you.
very welcome, Maureen. Okay, let's move on to question approval to submit an application. Congressional direct spending over Union Bridge flood mitigation concept design. Chris,
Yes, good morning,
Bring us home.
Commissioners.
go for it.
Thank you. So as I'm sure you're aware, there's a historic flooding issue in the town of Union Bridge. And recently, last year, we submitted a request to the Army Corps of Engineers and asked them to perform a flood study to try and determine what the causes were of the flooding and what potential mitigation we might be able to do. This is an issue not just because of damage to repeated damage to properties that are located in the floodplain, but also access issues during flooding events for emergency services getting from one side of the town to the other. So the Army Corps performed the analysis, and unfortunately, there's no easy solution to address the flooding issues and no inexpensive solutions. What they identified was the best option was a system of levees and a rebuilding of the bridge on Main Street, which has a pretty hefty price tag. So we've been looking for funding opportunities to do the next step, which would be to do design work to be able to narrow down the scope of the work and the exact costs related to that. And as we've been looking for grant opportunities to do that design work, last week, Senators Cardin and Van Hollen sent information to us regarding potential earmarks congressional earmarks that could be used for this type of work. So what we're asking for is your permission to submit the information for Union Bridge to the senators for their review and potentially submission for earmark funds to take us to the next step in doing a concept level design, which would then give us the information on the funding needed for construction.
Okay, thank you very much, Chris. Any questions?
No. I want to state and thank you, Director Hine and Mr. Varga, for the effort you guys have put in this over the last 2 years. This is a slow, arduous process, but it's such a large scale project. I like the initiative that you guys took reaching out to the congressional delegation and our senators, because I think that's our only true hope. And I'm glad you mentioned the safety issue, because I'm sure Commissioner Wance has been familiar with this issue for many years. A lot of people don't realize when there's flooding, the town is split in half. And Steve, was it take 20, 30 minutes for emergency crews to get to our side of town? That could be the difference between life and death. So this is imperative. With that, I move that the Board of County Commissioners approve the submittal of the request form for Union Bridge Flood Mitigation Concept Plan for Senator Van Hollen's fiscal year 22 congressional directed spending.
Second.
Okay, I got a motion and a second, and just share with you just a couple comments. One is, as you mentioned, Senator Cardin. So my recommendation is that this goes to Senator Van Hollen, Senator Cardin, and also Congressman Raskin. Although it's out of Congressman Raskin's district, Congressman Harris has no interest in supporting any earmarks, and he has shown that. If the money's out there, and although we agree with it or disagree with it, my recommendation is we go after it if it's out there. And so that's my 2 cents about this. And yeah, go ahead.
If I may, for correction, I believe that the Union Bridge is the northernmost precinct of Congressman Raskin.
Oh, that's
district.
Even better. That makes it that much easier.
And he does take a liking to that town, so I think we might
great.
get help. I appreciate you recommending that.
That's awesome. Because we're going after funds and other efforts, and we're just not getting any support from others except from Senator Cardin, Van Hollen, and Raskin at this point. So recommend we go after it. So any further discussion?
Yeah, the only challenge here, I think, is, once we get these concept plans, and this is going to take years, that's clear. At some point, I think we're going to have to really start looking at putting money in place for this infrastructure, because I don't know that we're going to get the free money. Is there such a thing as free money?
From the state?
From the feds or the state to do this. I think we're going to have to kick in a certain percentage. So I think it's just a matter of being mindful as we continue to move through the process here.
Yeah.
I'm in no way not in favor of this. I am in favor. Yeah. But to be ever so mindful, so that in the years out, especially the way we do our budget, we include or start to include funding based on what we find with these concept studies.
Yeah, I appreciate the clarification. This is a very big project. I will state that 75 Main Street is a state road, and the bridge over that creek is slated for replacement within, I believe, 8 years. So we're looking at a long-term time frame, but the new modern bridge should span that floodplain better to stop the flooding from taking place.
And
so hopefully, I've sent a letter or email to our delegation in the General Assembly to put it on the radar screen of State Highway Administration to be aware in advance, because as always, these things take a long time, but we plant the seed.
A couple of things, because I agree. We've had the one meeting with our delegation. They're asking us for projects. So our next meeting, this would be a really good one to throw out there for match. Regarding the letter to delegation, the delegation is looking to us from the Board of Commissioners, what is our priorities on roads? And they're going to then take that. They're not going to try to do a one-off. So, make sure that this is part of that package as well.
We don't know the overall cost of this, do we, Chris? Do we have any idea?
I think they're talking 20, 25 million.
Yes, the Army Corps of Engineers estimated that it would be between $20 and $25 million for construction.
Okay.
Right.
Guess we're going to have to get an MDE permit for that one too.
Yes.
That's due to the duck drop.
Have fun with that one. Yeah.
I got a motion. I got a second. I got a lot of interest in this with a little bit more guidance provided to you, gentlemen. Any further discussion, questions? Seeing here none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Holmes. Chris, do we have any public comment?
Yes, sir. I believe we have one caller. I'm going to unmute them now. Caller number 1, you're unmuted. You have 3 minutes for public comment. Please identify yourself.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
We can.
Sure can.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Suzanne Swisher, and I reside in District 4. Thank you for your service to our community, first of all. If you are not already aware, I would like to invite your attention to the BZA hearing that was held yesterday morning, May 26th at 9:10 a.m., case number 6321, regarding an appeal of an adverse decision of the zoning administrator for an accessory dwelling in the conservation zone, which was requested for a disabled senior citizen. There were numerous concerns raised not only by the applicants and family, but also through the testimony and concerns of neighbors in the surrounding community, and even the board members themselves. The issue is that outdated and overly strict zoning ordinances are potentially jeopardizing the safety and welfare of vulnerable citizens. Tuning into the hearing firsthand will be insightful. The issue was apparently discussed by county commissioners back in 2013 and then either tabled or postponed. I am respectfully requesting that you view the recording of the hearing when able and consider putting the issue back on the table as a priority agenda item. Your attention would be very meaningful to a number of people. Please reach out if I can be of assistance or service. Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you very much. Okay, Chris, any other callers?
Those are the only callers online currently. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
I was gonna say, Chris, can we get a copy of that meeting sent to our email so we can view it?
I'll send it right now.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And yeah, if others also need to be involved, in this, that'd be great. So, open admin, anything for open admin at this time? For the good of the group, for the good of the community. A lot of things happening. Specifically, on Monday, we're going to go over agendas. We will be closed in observance for our Memorial Day. On Tuesday, June 1st. Wow. We have Leadership Carol, where 2, 3, 4 of us will be attending. You're not going to be
Well,
here.
I had it as 1 o'clock on my calendar.
We're eating lunch first.
Right, but I had lunch at 1. If it's at noon, I'm gonna see if I can make lunch.
Okay.
But obviously, I can't get
You
to
got
that.
FSK.
Yeah.
Okay.
We cannot not attend a graduation.
Correct.
If not, I'll eat your food.
Yeah,
So
so I'll
It's a
check
big
with,
sacrifice for you.
with V and we'll get
Okay.
that straightened out.
Okay.
I thought it was at 1,
Yep.
so.
The intent is that we will all be there for Leadership Carol luncheon. If not, Commissioner Boucher will have double lunch at 2 p.m. FSK graduation. Commissioner Wentz will be attending. And then it was between Commissioner Wentz and I attending the FSK graduation, and you just beat me out on that, so kidding. Okay, local government day at 2:30 p.m. The 4 of us will be attending while Commissioner Wentz will be at FSK graduation. On Wednesday, Winters Mill High School graduation, again at the Shipley Arena. Commissioner Frazier will be attending. Excuse me. At 2 p.m., senior opioid policy meeting with Commissioner Frazier attending. I will be attending the Century High School graduation at 2 p.m. on Wednesday. I think Liberty is actually on Tuesday that I'll be attending as well. And I'll check, but I think there's 2 graduations and it's not on the schedule. But I believe Liberty is also on Tuesday. We'll check that out.
You mean you think there's gonna be 3 graduations in one day at the Shipley Arena?
There's
On
only,
Tuesday.
that's a lot.
There's
Yeah,
only
on
one.
Tuesday. On Tuesday,
Tuesday.
he's talking about.
I'm talking about
Yeah, but there's one, on Tuesday, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Right. And I think Liberty, I'm almost positive Liberty's on Tuesday, but we'll
Okay.
confirm that. That evening, Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, I'm attending.
Congratulations.
I am attending.
Because I'll be with Mako.
Oh, that's right.
He feels like he lost the bet.
I'm looking forward to
You did the
attending.
fences
I
back in
apologize.
You lost.
No,
You get
I-
planning and zoning. I get FSK. So you're out.
I apologize. The energy. I will be attending the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting at 6 p.m. At 7 p.m., we have Gathering of Remembrance over at Townsend, for Townsend Cook, the Maryland Lynching Memorial Project. Commissioner Boucher will be attending that up in Westminster. Thursday, we will have an open session going through Priority Carroll, state directives, Mr. Singer. We will have a public hearing on the Industrial One text amendment. Request approval, let's see, DCS looking for area FY 2022 area plan and individual grant applications from DCS. Stormwater review, contract approval will then, there'll be a whole lot more I would expect. We'll go into open. We will have, let's see, Thursday at 10 o'clock, Commissioner Weaver will be attending at Shipley Arena. So you will be missing the open session.
That day.
Okay.
Graduations are very important.
They are very important. And Westminster High School graduation is that afternoon at 2 p.m., where Commissioner Frazier will be attending at 4:30 p.m. There's the BWI Business Partnership Annual Meeting I will be attending. And then the South Carroll High School graduation at 6 p.m., where Commissioner Boucher will be attending. We have nothing right now for the 4th and the 5th.
If I could mention something about the
please.
Thursday, June 3rd.
Yeah.
It'll be public can come to our meeting for the first time in how many months? So it's a big step.
It is a big
June
step.
3rd is the first one.
And we do have a public release, right? Statement about opening June 1st. It's
Yeah.
already out. Right. Okay.
Yep.
And no spitballs allowed.
I'm looking forward to having a full, I don't know.
Full room?
Well, we'll see. We'll see how
Okay.
many people show.
Friday, nothing. Saturday, nothing. Sunday, I really look forward to Commissioner Wance's podcast.
No, that's Weaver's.
No. Mine's
No.
there was no witch.
Oh my God.
The bickering on the
Somebody's.
sides, I don't care for. Monday, the 7th, right now, there's nothing. The Ag Center Board meeting, I'll be attending on Tuesday, June 8th at 7 p.m. On Wednesday, I'll be attending the Governor's Workforce Development Board meeting. It'll still be virtual at 3:30. And Commissioner Weaver will be attending the Board of Education Board meeting. And I would like to look at scheduling the joint Board of Ed meeting with us and the delegation joint meeting with us later on this summer. So
Are the Board of Ed meetings still going to be virtual?
They are, but they're putting more and more people in the room now. They've changed the room out. It's getting closer, but they still have a virtual option to it.
we will have an open session currently scheduled for June 10th. The agenda will be filled with more than what it has right now. On Friday, June 11th, nothing. On Saturday, June 12th, we have a Eagle Scout Court of Honor. To me, this is also another step towards normalcy,
Right.
having these Court of Honor ceremonies. And Commissioner Frazier will be attending that. And then we all look forward to Commissioner Frazier's words of wisdom on Sunday, June 13th, during his podcast.
I'm sorry, it's only 10 minutes because how much wisdom can you get out in 10 minutes? You know what I mean?
If
With you?
If you can't say it in 10, you just can't say it.
Exactly. I don't want to hear anything.
Okay. We went
Neither
through
does anyone else,
agendas,
trust
we went through open admin.
All
We
right.
will stay for closed admin, but what I need is a motion to adjourn. at
So
this
moved.
time. I need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're
Do
adjourned.
we have to adjourn? I guess we have to adjourn.
Yeah.
Okay, let's.